What is up, my fellow conspirator and conspirators? It is, of course, I, your boy, Matty Milligan, and this is the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo! So, today I want to share with you a very simple and awesome free lead generation strategy. Now, this can be done on every social media platform. You will need to change things depending on the variables and to make it native to each platform. But this is really something you can do right now to start getting more leads from your business. And I just want to share one thing quickly, which I'll go into another video on in the future. But I really recommend stop thinking of these leads as leads, right? Start thinking of leads as people. And they're just like you. They have all sorts of emotions. They're super busy. They're frustrated. They don't have enough money in a lot of cases. They don't have enough time. They don't have enough energy. So really providing these people with value, that's your best option. So that's one quick thing. And I'll go into, again, reframing your idea because I don't like to look at people as leads. I like to look at them as people that have problems, and I'm giving them solutions to their problems to give them more energy, time, and money. Back to the strategy though. First thing you need to do with each of your social profiles, wherever you're going to be networking, is you need to optimize it for networking. So making sure that you have a good display picture, that is super important. You need to have a picture of your face, right? And I've had people where they've tested it and apparently if you're a guy, the not smiling face works a lot better. I've talked with a few people, but for me, I just like to have a smiling thing because, I don't know, I just like to portray myself as a friendly person, very sociable and just easy to get along with. And that's just the way I usually am, right? I'm usually joking around a little bit, or in fact, I am kind of a shy dude. So in some cases, I don't say much, but then I will chime in from time to time, depending on my mood. But that's one thing, right? Just having a picture of your face is super important. If you look at my display picture right now on all of my social media platforms, it's actually comical because my hair is so much longer right now. And the fact that I'm also wearing this suit, it looks kind of weird because I don't really wear suits that much. And I'm in the process of taking some better pictures and actually getting a photographer to take some very professional images of me for the new funnel that I'm going to be building for myself for next year in 2020. And it's good too because it just gives you a lot of better stock image that you can use on your social media and just for hero images on your website and funnel pages. So that's one thing, right? You need to have a good display picture. So get someone to take some pictures of you, and that's the first thing that I would really recommend doing, is having a good display. And then the second thing that kind of ties into that is having a good cover image, right? That secondary image. I usually like to have a call to action in there. Mine is not perfect if you look at a lot of my platforms right now, but again, I'm in the process of changing that. I've just been too busy to do that, and I'm probably just going to hire someone to do it anyways, to be honest. But this is something, again, where those images need to be consistent on it. And ones like Instagram, that's where you more so have to optimize just your text and what each of the little options is. I've changed mine way too many times over the years, and I really should have just stuck with a couple of them. But I recommend just having a couple of options where you're talking about yourself, right? If you have any credentials, if you're an award winner, and even if you have nothing, just have some cool catchphrase that's really unique to you and always have it linked somewhere. Right now, mine links to my podcast because I'm really focused on growing this podcast. And that's why I have the Underground Marketing Conspiracy in my link in a lot of my social platforms like Instagram and Facebook, is because I'm planning on growing this channel, right? And then from there, that's what allows me to really shout out to send people to my funnel links eventually. And that's what really I recommend having, again, is optimizing that display image, and then optimizing your cover image, and then optimizing all the about me section. And again, I'm not perfect at this. I'm just showing you what I've seen other people doing because I've been doing a lot of research right now, and because I'm in the process of redoing a lot of stuff. I think having a really good unique selling proposition as well, like I help X market or industry or niche or type of person get Y. I think having that kind of headline is just super helpful, especially if it's on LinkedIn or Facebook and you're networking on there. So that's really the basics on optimizing your profile. Now that you've optimized it and it's looking good, and I do recommend, like I was talking about before, having someone where you're sending them, whether that's a website, which I don't recommend, sending them to, I think, again, a landing page where you're giving away something for free or you're selling something at that point, you're getting them to sign up for a webinar, just something, right? Or again, if you're like me, where you're trying to grow one of your distribution channels, just sending them to that where they can sign up for that and start subscribing from there and consuming your content, right? It's a good tool to use where you can grow other platforms as well. So when you're focused on really growing one distribution channel, just change the links on all your platforms when you're networking all the different ones to just point to one specific source. And then that way, you're having what I like to call the rhinoceros effect, where instead of just shooting your quills like a porcupine in a million different directions, you're really focusing all your energy on your one horn and you're really honing in on that one specific goal. All right, so that was a really cool idea, by the way. I need to write that down. Now, what you want to do is you need to use your profile now that it's optimized and you have somewhere to send people. You need to go out and just start commenting on other people's stuff, right? Becoming part of the community. Don't even direct message people. Like, this is my biggest thing. You want to have people messaging you instead of you messaging people. That's the biggest thing. And sure, there's a good way to go about that and to message people, I think, but whether it's Instagram, you're doing this on LinkedIn or Facebook or even YouTube, right? Going out as your profile and commenting on the other profiles where they're similar in your niche, I think that's a good way to do that. And even just going through the comments and re-commenting on other comments as well, that's super effective. Because what people do is when you leave a really witty comment, not just some generic like 3 emoji comment or a couple of quick like words where it's like, good job, dude, like, yeah, awesome, this is cool. That's very generic and very vague and very abstract. You want to leave a very solid, concrete comment on those other ones, right? And then from there, people are going to be like, whoa, this is a cool comment, and visit your profile, right? And then you just happen to have that link in your bio, right? So again, like, have all your bragging and stuff and all your cool content on your profile as well. Because that way, when people do visit your profile, again, they can just start consuming your content, like, and they'll be like, wow, this guy has, like me, people start visiting my stuff, and they're like, oh, wow, this guy has a podcast. And again, I'm pointing everyone right now because I'm focused on this one thing that eventually I can turn into something else. And I'm not even focused right now on really monetizing off of this specific thing right now. My main goal right now is really to just get more comfortable talking on camera, but at the same time, basically just improvising my ideas and improving my improvisation of just talking about random things, which I've struggled with for a long time. And I'm sure in the future I plan on actually taking some sort of improvisation class to improve my public speaking. I've been to Toastmasters before as well, which is super helpful, especially when you get into their table topics where they just give you something to talk about for 3 to 5 minutes. That's a very useful exercise as well. But when you're going out and networking, you're basically just trying to redirect people back to your profile to learn more about you, right? So I've worked with this dating coach before, and one thing that he tells me is that with his dating, what he does is he really optimizes his Instagram profile and then just goes out into the world, and instead of getting women's phone numbers, he just gets their Instagram account. And then from there, basically they go and check out his account, and he's posting cool stuff all the time, like making himself look super cool. And then he's also posting cool stuff on his stories. And then again, these women that he's met, they message him, like they start the conversation, which is pretty cool, to be honest, right? So that's one thing that, I mean, you want to have it the same way with your business networking, right? Like, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get people like in your world, like exchange social media accounts, and it's way better than a phone number at this point. And again, from there, that way you just let them like stalk your profile and find out about you and check out all the cool stuff that you have, right? And if it's valuable for them, then they're just going to naturally want to get in touch with you. So that's the way I do that. Now, I do this from time to time. I'm going to message people just because that's just the way it is. In some cases, it's like, oh, I'm just going to send this person a message or whatever. And unless I'm feeling like icky about it, but it's one of those cases where like, hey man, just like PM me quickly. That's when I usually message. Sometimes though, what I'll do is, again, I'll go out and network and then just have people like connect with me. And then on Facebook specifically, because it's a group networking tool, which you can't do on any other platform. Maybe you can kind of do this on LinkedIn, but I've never tried it. I'm sure this would actually just work on LinkedIn. It would be fine as well. But going out and again, commenting with people and then connecting with them, like sending them a friend request or connecting with them if it's LinkedIn. And then from there, just sending them a quick, like super quick message, right? Like no more than 10, 15 words, I would say. Just like, hey man, like thanks for connecting. How's business? And like, how are things going on your side? Are you like hitting your goals right now? Like just trying to get into their world and really, find out about them, right? Or maybe you just want to drop them a quick line and be like, hey man, thanks for doing that one thing. I do that a lot when people comment on my posts. I'll just drop a message after I connect with them and I'm like, hey man, I really appreciate you liking my post. And that's all I say. And that's it. And these people usually message me back being like, oh man, like that's cool. Like I really enjoyed XYZ about it. And then from there, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, tell me more about what you do. And then again, just getting that conversation flowing. And then maybe organically at some point, it just happens to lead to a, like a quick messaging thing, right? And again, this is a free strategy. Like anyone can do this. You don't even need to do those steps like 3 and 4 I had before, where basically you need to build a website or like start some sort of thing. Like I would at least have some content on your social profile that you're using as a networking tool, because that way again you're boomeranging people back to your profile to get them to learn more about you. And then maybe from there even you just have like a strategy call session or a sales call session link on your profile where people get in touch with you. That's like a super simple thing that anyone can do, right? And again, this allows you to have people coming to you, and then that allows you to charge more. And it just makes the whole like closing process when you're selling so much easier, because clearly they think at that point you can help them if they're getting in touch with you and they're like, I need some help with this, right? That's when I think a lot of people struggle with like the next steps with actually closing the sale, which I'm sure I can talk about more in the future, because I've been taking like several sales classes over the few years, and I've definitely improved. I'm not like a legend at this point, but I'm definitely getting better, and I do more and more sales calls every single month. So, and I'll go into more about like closing in the future, because there's a few programs that I've taken. I do like this guy Dan Lok. I think he's like pretty solid, and it's weird because he calls himself the king of high ticket sales, and I think high ticket sales has been killed at this point, as I've talked about previously. But I can definitely go into more quick closing steps, and he gives a really simple, I think it's like a 3-step method just to close the sales as well. But again, the strategy I'm giving you is lead generation. So if you want me to actually talk more about sales, then message me, or what you can actually do is leave a comment and just below this video or wherever you're listening to this, and let me know if you actually want me to talk more about closing like high ticket sales in the future as well, and I can definitely give you some additional information on that. But again, that's the lead generation strategy, right? And you're basically, that way you're just getting people into your world and they just naturally flow into you, right? And the more and more you do this takes a lot more time, but you get more and more people into the top of your funnel. And then from there, again, you're just kind of sifting them down into that center point, into that phone call, where if you're selling stuff over the phone, you can do that. Or if you're selling physical products, it's a little bit different, I think, but this works really well, again, for, I think, like B2B services, this works very well. But just for, again, anything where you're selling something over the phone, I think this is a super effective strategy. But I think even for if you were selling, my main thing is, again, the direct messaging out to people. Like that's something where you want people to coming to you. Like that's just a powerful play. I think it's one of the principles in 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, in fact, where you want people coming to you. So that's what I recommend just in terms of lead generation. Again, this is all free. It doesn't cost you a nickel to do any of this stuff. So it just costs you a lot of time, right? And you need to put in a lot of effort. Heck, what you can do too is, like, if you're someone that's kind of like me, where, people think you're working really hard, but I'm just very efficient and very quick at what I do, and that just allows me to free up more time to do things that I'm passionate about, and to really just like reading and really do like little projects that I'm creating, because I'm kind of a creative dude. If you're like me, then what you can do is like have your laptop open and do the lead generation there, and like listen to some music at the same time, or You can even watch TV at the same time or watch some Netflix. It doesn't matter. Just have that there, and then do your networking. Just make sure that the majority of your focus is on the one thing. If it's buckle down time though, and you're in kind of like desperation mode, then don't do all that other stuff. Just have music on. Like classical music works pretty well. It gets your brain ramping up. And I listen to some weird stuff though, like synth music. Um, like I don't know. I sometimes I listen to this stuff because when it's crunch time and I know I don't have that, it just puts like this really cool pressure on me, and I feel I just get into the zone and get into that flow state really quickly. So that's what I would just recommend in terms of doing lead generation. Again, these are free strategies and they don't really cost you anything, and they lead to eventual sales. Hope you enjoyed today's call. If you call today's call. Hope you liked today's episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy, and if you did like this, I want you to actually subscribe to this channel wherever you are listening to this to. Maybe it's iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Spotify, wherever it is. Consider subscribing and consider leaving a review. I need your feedback on how I'm actually doing with these podcasts. If you want me to make them longer or shorter, or there's any topics that you want me to discuss, leave me a quick review. Even if you think that I suck, I want you to tell me that I suck, and I'm going to be like, all right, cool, bro. I'll unsuck just for you. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you next time on another episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo!